Yes!
And we're back, Dan.
Oh, no, my green sleeves are visible.
Oh, no, I was hoping
they are visible. Oh, wait, no, my corner's gone.
They're blending.
Yes.
They're blending.
It needs to go. It needs to be a bit darker green, and then we can get it done. Yeah, honestly.
We should do a review one day, like when we're wearing the same coloured shirts as what's behind us, just so we can have floating heads.
We must do. Do you know? I thought the other day we should wrap the mics in it.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah, because then they don't poke out as much, do they?
You used to have a green muffler on the end, and now you got yellow. So
yeah, boing. There it is.
Might have to check that. So anyway,
sequel September, Dan.
Best month ever.
We have 2 left, don't we?
Oh, we do.
So this is the second to last one of the month, guys.
We need this to last forever.
We need we need another sequel to try and trump what we've talked about this month already.
Let's recap on that, because this month has probably been the best for 5 stars so far this year.
Yes, yeah. I'm hoping you remember, because I haven't gotten.
I'm trying to remember. So
we started with Paddington 2.
Ah, yes, classic.
And then I think we did Toy Story 2.
We did. Then we did Wallace and
Gromit, the wrong trousers. That was it. So we really are kicking them out high right here.
And I think you've given me. No, Paddington was not a 5 from you.
Paddington was a 4, and
was it 4.5?
No, I think it was a 4. I think I was generous with a 4 on that. And and then Toy Story 2 and the wrong trousers, 5 stars, hands down. And now we get to this sequel, Dan. We today are talking about Back to the Future Part 2. So this is another off the cuff review, like we did last week, because what better month to do it in? Am I right, Dan? Where we just naturally talk about it. I'm not reading it off a pre-typed review. We're just naturally talking about a film that we both generally enjoy.
And I just want to mention that when you write your reviews, it is you that writes them.
Yes.
There's no. It's still original content.
Yep.
Just 100%. Want to point that out. So. Obviously, yes, Back to the Future. Now, this is a trilogy that I've always ever seen bits of on telly, but have never sat down and watched.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then you suggested watch them, the whole trilogy.
Or just watch the first one and see if you want to continue with the others afterwards.
Actually, that is what you said.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yes. Yeah.
I taped it. It was on Channel 4 one Christmas, so I taped it.
Perfect family film to watch at Christmas.
Do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Back to the Future 1 is a 5 out of 5 classic without question.
It's one of those films.
I can't fault it. I legitimately cannot fault it.
Can't. There is one thing that I wanted to do at the end of that film.
Which was?
Continue watching.
Yeah.
And that's how you know. It's very rare that I get that.
Isn't it weird to think like the whole Back to the Future trilogy takes place in technically one night? Technically, which is pretty crazy, right?
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But, right, this is what is absolutely mad. So, obviously, the first film, you set every foundation up.
Yep. Yeah. Everything is
for them to.
But Back to the Future,
do what they want to.
Back to the Future was never made with the intention of making sequels. They just wanted to make their money back, and the director even came out and said that if they'd have known they were coming back for a sequel, he wouldn't have put the girlfriend in the car at the end of the first movie, because that kind of left it kind of that was a little thing they had to try and wrap up. Like how can they go into the future if the girlfriend's getting in the way of everything and all that? Like they had to put her out.
I think they did well,
and they had to recast the girlfriend in this one as well.
Actually, they did.
Because the actress of the previous girlfriend in the first film, I believe her mother was seriously ill at the time, and she was caring for her. On a different note, you also had Crispin Glover, who plays George McFly, Marty's dad.
Yep.
He didn't come back either for the second film. You might think he did, because they tried every technique in the book to make us think that he was there. They used stock footage from the first movie. They used prosthetics of his face from the previous movie that they put onto new actors, and also impressionists as well. The actor never came back because he didn't
They did very well to hide it.
Yeah. They did do well to hide it. And
there's a political reason why he didn't.
He ended up. Yeah, no, he. I think
he sued him, didn't he?
Yeah, he demanded more money or something, and then he ended up suing him, and he won the court case that you're not allowed to use his image without his permission, and they didn't get his permission for it. But
Wow.
Hey, enough grim. All the other actors from the first movie are back.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. Including,
of course, the stars.
Yes, yeah.
Michael J. Fox.
Yep, and Christopher Lloyd.
Legends in the game.
It's not Back to the Future without those two.
No, it's not. It's really not. This is the thing that I really enjoyed about this film, because no other film has done this for me, where obviously that recycled footage of the first movie, and also where they've recreated it, then you watch it change. You're watching the same thing. Essentially, you watch the same things over and over, but something different is changing each time.
It's the A side and the B side, and that's really creative. Like, I don't think any film has ever, no sequel has ever done that. Right, let's just go back to the events of the first movie and look at it from a different angle.
Yes, that's exactly what this film did.
That's so good.
And you also get the explanation, because as a viewer, your mind's probably bulging at this point. Like, this is a bit of a complicated one to follow.
Yeah. I did try to explain this to some my parents once before we watched it, and just so they get a gist of what they were in for, and they did think there was a bit of jumping around. And I will agree, this film is my least favourite in the trilogy. I actually prefer...
Is it because it's just so complicated and scientific?
I think it's because...
There's a lot of math.
There is a lot of math, but there's so much jumping around that you don't just have time to enjoy with the characters, because there's so much plot over character in this movie. Like you go to the future, then you go to the past, but it's the wrong past. You got to go back to the past further.
But how Doc explains
it's laid out so simplistic that a moron could follow it easily. But it's and I understood. I didn't have a problem with it, but I can understand why maybe people of maybe an older generation who might just be watching it for the first time, they might not understand it as much. And there is a lot of jumping around. I do love that Biff is the key villain in this movie, though. I mean, technically he's the key villain in the first one, but he's more pivotal in this one, isn't he? He's an actual threat, and that I did like that about him. And there's a lot of similarities between him and a certain president who's currently, on.
Let's not.
Yeah.
The thing for me, right? You're saying this is your least favorite of the trilogy. For me, this is my favourite of the trilogy.
Even more than the first one?
Even more than the first one, and only because I think it's living up to the standard that sequels that they do. You've got more characters. You've also got characters that you know.
Yeah.
You're seeing them in different angles. You're seeing... Because remember, the order of which you see these things is important.
Yeah.
You obviously watch the first before you watch the second. So you already have this extra layer onto the characters that you know. But also, throughout the film, you know how things are supposed to be, because it's a time travel movie. You know how things are supposed to be at a particular time.
Yeah.
You visit that exact time again, but then it's not the same. And that, I think, is a layer of complexity that the majority of people watching a time-traveling anything would never, ever grasp.
I think the key issue with... the issues that I have with 2 and 3 are that they feel more connected to each other than the first movie. And that's because...
I disagree.
That's because they filmed 2 and 3 back to back. They made them together.
I disagree. I think that 1 and 2 are closer connected together.
You reckon?
I do. Because for me, the third one is the distant one. It's my least favourite of the three.
It's the Western, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's still a great film.
But that's why I like that one more than 2, because you just get time to sit with Doc and Marty, and you just get to spend more time with them. And then they're not jumping around. They go to the Wild West.
They want to, but they can't.
Yeah, they go to the Wild West and they stay there, and that's it. And I'm quite happy with that.
But what I think's good about it as well is because, again, that's another example of, and I think all 3 movies have got this. It's a history lesson. Yeah. Even if they're not teaching history, watching it in 2024.
Yeah.
You're still going to get your history lesson, aren't you?
I think I've just come to this realization in my head. Part 3 has great character development.
It does.
Part 2 has great plot service. Part 1 has the best of both for me.
I would agree with that, I would agree with that.
That's my iron out of it.
In terms of adventure and complexity, math, puzzles, I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
Number 2 has what I like.
No, I'm not judging you for that. No.
But still, it's a great film. I mean, what's not to like? The cast. The acting, the performance.
The cast are great. Yeah, they are.
The story.
Yeah. And I do like Tom Wilson as Biff because I think he portrays a really good baddie in this one, especially in the alternative 1985 that they go back to.
Yep.
And what else happens in that movie? I mean, the flying cars in the future. I mean, please note it's nearly 10 years after 2015, and we still haven't got flying cars and hoverboards yet. What's that all about, eh?
I mean, people that I see can barely operate a non-flying car. Probably the reason as to why. I mean, before I even saw the Back to the Future films, it was an anniversary of it once. I went to the Gadget Show live at the NEC in Birmingham, and they rolled onto the stage, because I was right next to the stage. They rolled out in a DeLorean, and they were saying, right, Back to the Future, it's been so many years since, well, here, and I think it was 2015 when this happened.
Yeah.
And they basically said, right, well, let's look at some of the inventions that they predicted in the movie that now exist, and they predicted everything apart from the hoverboard.
Contactless for one. I think that they use contactless in the future in Back to the Future Part 2.
They did.
So that's one thing they predicted.
Yeah, they did, and they showed it.
Yeah.
Two
ties at the same time. I don't think that ever took off. And
the self-tying and the self-drying coats.
Yeah. We've
got something similar though. We've got that automatic drying clothes rack thing.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. I honestly think though.
But I get why they went down this route with the future, because like you can never predict the future. You can't predict what the future is going to be like. So that's why they made their own one.
I didn't think they actually got it that far off the mark.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. Okay, the future of technology.
If there was an 80s calf, I'd be all over that, because that's what they have in the future and that.
And I thought that was a very clever thing to do.
He goes in there, Beat It by Michael Jackson is playing.
They actually made it.
Yeah.
So that I thought that was really clever.
Yeah.
Because they knew that they'd be able to do that bit accurately.
Yeah.
And that's just clever.
It is clever.
Bearing in mind what they had to perceive from 2015 was they had to have this. Basically, they had to predict it.
They did. You're right.
And I don't think they did a bad job of that.
No.
I mean,
no.
The hydrating of foods, we have that on space shuttles.
Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't obviously go from C to a big pizza, but it does. It's a similar sort of thing. So we do have some of these things.
But there are some fun mirror moments in all three movies that, they have a symmetry to them. Like in the first film, when he wakes up and he goes, "Mom," and he goes, I was having a nightmare. I dreamt I was, traveling back in time. And then she goes, "Oh yeah, never mind. You're back here now in good old 1955." And he goes, "1955?" And he sits up. Whereas in the in the second film, it's in the bad future, isn't it? And he wakes up and he goes, she goes, "Oh yeah, never mind. You're all safe now. Back on the 15th floor." The 15th floor, and he wakes up and his mum's got like big bajungas, because Biff is married to her now, and I mean it's hell, isn't it? It's just like one thing after the other in that.
But again,
scenario.
It is that level of detail that I love the most about these films.
Yeah, and they also have hints to the third movie in the second film, don't they? Like they say Biff Tannen, descendant of Mad Dog Tannen, who was the villain in the third movie. There's little hints, and also he's watching a Clint Eastwood film in the future, isn't he? He's like, great flick.
But this is what I love about all three of them. Mainly the first two do it, but they all do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They all do it.
But I've always had issues with trilogies where the first one is such a huge success that they end up making 2 and 3 back to back, because they can be more related to each other because of they did the same thing with Pirates of the Caribbean. They did the same thing with The Matrix. Did they do any more? No, I don't think they're doing it with the Avatar movies at the minute. Avatar, bro. But we're not. But we won't talk about that.
Good reference.
Yeah. But yeah, like
if you have not seen this movie, you are gay, man. I do not care.
You have not seen Avatar. No, but that's why. But that's why I love Lord of the Rings so much, because all three movies were made at the same time, so they're all connected. They're all basically one big movie, and that's why they have that has that perfect
big
feel to
movie being the operative word.
Yes, yeah. Whereas with trilogies, with the first film being so successful, I still think they should make one movie at a time. If they're planning a 3-part structure, they should be either separate or all together. That's the way I think. Especially with Toy Story. Toy Story, all three.
1 and 2 were connected, and 3 wasn't.
What?
I didn't think so.
No, I don't think so.
4 definitely wasn't.
Nah, 4 doesn't exist.
What's that going on?
Yeah, damn right. But no, yeah, back to the Future part 2.
Back to the Future. That's not confusing.
No, that's not. So to close, Dan, this is a sequel that for me isn't as good as the first one, but it still has that charm in it. It has the characters that are enjoyable. No Huey Lewis in the News, which on the soundtrack, which sucks a bit.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, I do miss Huey Lewis in this movie. Wow. I mean, there's just so many iconic moments in the first one that there aren't as many iconic moments in the second for me.
Technically, some of the iconic moments from the first ones are in
this one. Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, but
technically,
but that's just basic recycling, isn't it? I mean, you don't get points for that. It's like the line.
Are you doing this film because it works so well?
Yeah, no. I'm not entirely, grilling on it. I will let it partially off the hook because, for the reason that it was original to do at the time. But yeah, overall, if you love Back to the Future Part 1, you will have fun with this one. I guarantee that. It's made by the same people. It's got the same people in it. Majority of 95% of the same people, and Alan Silvestri's music is still a brilliant soundtrack. Like the do 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 do. That's just a classic movie theme.
Iconic.
It is a classic movie theme, and and I'm so glad they're never going to make a Back to the Future Part 4, never, because the makers have it in their have a clause in place that for as long as they're all alive, nobody is allowed to make anything Back to the Future related. They have a trilogy, and that's it. Beginning, middle, end. That's all you need for this movie. Less is more.
I bet Disney aren't happy about that. They might want to remake it.
No, they won't get hold of it. I think Universal own it, so Disney don't have any shares in Universal, as far as I'm aware. I don't think they do.
Yet.
Yes, yet. Yeah, let's hope on that. But yeah, to close down, before I give you my rating, what would you rate this film?
I mean, is it even a question?
It's a
5.
It's a 5. Okay, that's good. I'm going to have to give this one, because it is my least favourite in the trilogy, and I do have the most issues with this one over the out of the 3.
It's got to be a 5.
I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
Oh!
Yeah. But if it's any consolation, 3.5 is the exact same rating I give the third one. So they just, these two sequels.
Ouch.
They're great, but they just dip in quality compared to the first one for me. It's a personal taste.
What's the first one?
Oh, it's a 5. 100% it's a 5.
See, for me, 1 and 2 are 5s.
Yeah. And 3?
4.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, to be fair, I'm a bit more lethal on these kind of things.
I love them.
So do I. I happily watch them.
You didn't sound like you loved it.
No. It's just like
you gave the SpongeBob movie 3.5.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I gave that.
Oh, you gave it 5. Sorry. But no, I think you can't. No. I don't agree with you there.
Hold on, I'm actually going to see.
I think you could have rated the second one a bit higher than that. I think you could have at least done 4.
I'm very sorry, Dan, but I've got to stick with that one. I'm sorry. But I'm trying to find, where is my SpongeBob?
I'm sure it was 3.5.
It was 2.5.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm not crazy, man. I'm not a SpongeBob fan. I wouldn't give it more than a 3.
You are crazy to give Back to the Future Part 2.
3.5. But no, 3.5. When you look at in the grand scheme of things, 3.5 out of 5 is still very commendable.
It's not 4 though, is it?
It's over halfway.
It's not 4 though, is it?
It's just 2 and 3 just don't capture that same charm as the first movie does for me. I think if I'd watched these films when I was younger, when I was little, I think the second one would have been my favourite because it was the most fun and jumping about and everything. And it's exciting, but I like okay, this has happened. Now let's just sit here and learn more about these characters. That's just my personal taste.
If it was on TV right now, would you watch it?
Yeah, I'll leave it on. Yeah, of course I would.
No pleasing you, Tommy. No pleasing, honestly. Well, I hope when it's on TV for you, you get adverts
Ooh.
for that score.
Oh, ouch.
That's what you deserve.
Well, let's hope we find a better sequel to see this month out on. Hey, Dan?
Well, personally, I think you knocked the nail on the head with another 5-starer, but,
No worries.
Right.
No.
No. So, next week, the big finale of The Twos.
Yes.
Do you have anything in mind for what you're going to be bringing to the table? Anything big?
Well, I think so far the thing is I've talked about sequels that every sequel I think you've seen.
Yeah, Paddington 2.
Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
Wrong Trousers.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I need to find another sequel that you've seen. And don't worry, it won't be the Two Towers because we've already covered Lord of the Rings.
We haven't. Won't be Shrek 2. We've covered Shrek.
We've covered Shrek 2. Trust me, Shrek 2 would have been my next call if not for us already having talked about it.
I know just the one.
No, it's going to have to be another off-the-cuff one.
Puss in Boots 2.
I think we've done it.
Last Wish.
I think we've done The Last Wish.
Have we?
Yeah, animated. We did it one animated month, I think.
No. What else?
Oh, man.
I've also seen Nanny McPhee 2. I've also seen... I'm just thinking of...
Yeah, Brainstorm 2s,
Yeah, well...
I've got a list of sequels here on my letterbox.
I'm just going for number 2, don't worry. What else have I seen that's a 2 movie?
But it's not a Bug's
Life.
Life.
It's not a Bug's Life 2. No, it's not a Bug's Life 2. Obviously, the Tomb Raider second one. I've seen that. I've seen the trilogy of them, but you haven't seen any of them. You're missing out.
Here we go.
National Treasure 2.
There's
I've
a list.
As well. A list of
sequels.
Is this your list?
Well, it's a list of sequels that I think are better than the first one. A lot of them we've probably already spoken about.
Haven't seen Avatar.
I've
seen Harry Potter and the Chamber of the Secrets.
We could do that if you wanted.
Do you know? I don't think I've seen Rugrats in Paris.
I think we've talked about Rugrats in Paris already.
It's on tape. It's on tape. See, I haven't seen any of the Batman movies. Haven't seen Deadpool. Haven't seen Superman. Obviously, Toy Story 2. I've seen that. Suicide Squad. No, yeah. Puss in Boots. Shrek 2. Yeah, seen those. Paddington 2. Oh no, I've run out.
No.
Is this your list?
Yeah. It's mainly just sequels that are better than the first one. So.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean,
we spoke about Chicken Run 2, didn't we? I mean, it's not better than the first one, obviously, but it's a sequel that you've seen.
I think we have.
I think we did.
We've obviously spoken about The Incredibles 2.
Yes. We did Finding Dory.
Downstairs, let's look at the DVD case.
Okay.
That'll have them.
Yeah.
Because all the films I'd have seen.
Sure. And it ain't going to be Cars 2. Don't you fucking... you fucking dare.
Oh, God. See, that's a 1-star for me.
Yeah.
I hated that film. So you're safe.
Thank God.
I didn't like Cars 2. For me, Cars was a one film, that's it.
Well, we best go have a gander then, Dan. But, guys...
We must.
Before
we do that...
Please do follow us on Letterboxd. Larkins95, Dan Moore Radio. You guys know the gist by now. Even Dan knows the gist by now.
Even I know the gist.
Yes. So, please do follow us. But, other than that, I just wish you guys... a happy week.
And don't forget, YouTube people, you have the option as well to subscribe to this here YouTube channel. Press the bell, you get notified whenever we come on, because we're live, you see. You get to do all of that.
Yep.
And it's all available right now. And it's completely free.
And it's absolutely free.
We don't make any money of this. We must be bananas. But it's free.
Of course. Always free.
Get involved with that. But listen, you have a great week ahead. Don't irate any customers. And then, of course, you will be able to enjoy another film review courtesy of Mr. Tommy Larkins. Tommy, thank you very much.
No worries, Dan. Take care. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.